I'm not sure exactly how Stoicism became the official philosophy of dude bros, but that does seem to be a thing that has happened. There are videos all over YouTube, and I'm sure other platforms as well, that seem to all follow a similar tried and true formula. Show men a bunch of statues of muscular, naked Greek dudes, while a deep and confident AI-generated voice teaches you how to stop letting toxic people exploit you, or how to stop masturbating, or how to never get angry or bothered by anyone. Stoicism seems to have transformed from a nuanced, introspective philosophy about aligning one's life with nature and virtue into a kind of self-help grind set that appropriates a lot of feminist buzzwords but directs its message in the other direction. The modern dude bro stoic doesn't meditate on death to embrace life more fully. He does it to stop texting his ex. He doesn't practice negative visualization to learn compassion for others. He does it to prepare for the betrayal he knows is coming from all the secret haters everywhere. It's a strange fate for a philosophy that cautioned against pride and emphasized accepting what's outside of our control. But then again, maybe it was inevitable that a philosophy built on endurance would eventually be turned into just another brain-dead flex in our look at me culture. I've been chomping at the bit to critique this nonsense for a while now, but I've been waiting for the right video to come across my feed, and today I think it finally happened. 5 questions liars ask. Don't trust them. Stoic philosophy. Let's take a look.
Actually, before we even take that look, let's appreciate just how much these channels cannibalize one another. Because here's the video I'm responding to from 2 weeks ago. 5 questions liars ask, don't trust them, Stoic philosophy. Here is one from 3 days ago. 5 questions liars ask, don't trust them, Stoic philosophy. Here's one from 3 weeks ago. 5 questions liars ask, don't trust them, Stoic philosophy. 5 questions liars don't ask. Don't ask. 5 questions liars ask. 5 questions liars ask. 5 questions liars ask. 5 questions liars ask.
There's a type of question that doesn't seek truth. It seeks control. And if you've ever felt that shiver down your spine, that uneasy twist in your gut when someone asked you something that sounded innocent but felt off, then this video is for you. Because liars don't just lie with words. They lie with questions, twisted questions, loaded questions, questions designed not to understand, but to manipulate. And once you know what they are, you'll never see the world the same again.
My favorite part of that was when the big, tough AI voice with commanding authority said, "Liars don't just lie with words. They lie with questions." Right. What are those questions made of again? Because last I checked, words, right? Right. But that's just a nitpick. My real issue with this video is that any question can be asked from a lot of different perspectives. You know, and instead of telling these guys that they need to look at the intent beneath a question, it's just going to give them 5 examples of questions that are supposedly inherently bad. And that seems like a very dangerous mindset.
1. Why are you being so sensitive? This one's a classic gaslight grenade. It's not a question, it's an accusation in disguise.
So, to be fair, why are you being so sensitive is pretty clumsy wording. But let's think of the context where a question like that typically would come up. Let's say you're talking to somebody, and you, probably without even meaning to, stumble upon some kind of touchy subject, something that they don't necessarily want to confront or talk about. And that's when you might ask, why are you being so sensitive? Now, a better way to ask that is probably something like, hey, I noticed this subject is making you a bit emotional, and I don't really understand why. Could you explain it to me? But really, it's the same question. It's just asking it more politely. And what this video is doing is basically giving the men watching it permission not to confront whatever it is that's bothering them. It's giving them permission to frame their inability to meaningfully look inward at what's bothering them as a strength. Like, oh wow, I'm afraid to confront my inner feelings. But you know what? That's because I'm just so fucking tough. That's not stoicism. This is essentially just emotional repression with a six-pack. It's self-help, cosplaying, wearing Marcus Aurelius as a Halloween costume. It's insecurity dressed up as invulnerability. What this video and countless others like it are really selling is a defense mechanism wrapped up in some testosterone. Like, whoa, I'm so tough that I don't even need to confront my inner turmoil. Whoa.
2. You trust me, right? This one sounds innocent, but behind it, a trap. Anyone who demands trust instead of earning it is already lying to you.
This one is just plain silly. If someone asks you, you trust me, right? And you don't trust them, just say, no, I don't trust you. If there's someone that you can't say that to for some reason, like it's your boss or something, then just be more diplomatic about it. But this is definitely a question where the context under which it's being asked is far more important than the question itself. In a vacuum, the question is harmless. It could be a nervous plea for reassurance from someone who just, I don't know if you trust me or not. I want to know. It could be someone trying to build a bridge. It could be manipulation. Sure, that is a possibility, but it could also just be vulnerability. The question, you trust me, right, doesn't carry any sort of universal, inherent, intrinsic malice. It just becomes problematic if it's used to pressure you into something that you're uncomfortable with. But that depends on who is asking and when and why. By framing it as inherently deceptive as a question, the video is encouraging a kind of paranoid absolutism. Treat every social interaction like a potential trap. Assume bad faith from everybody and never allow for any nuance. And that is not stoicism. That's just unnuanced pussydom wrapped up in a God complex.
3. Are you accusing me of something? This is the liar's deflection move. They frame your curiosity as aggression. They flip the script. You become the villain. And just like that, you're defending yourself instead of exposing them. This question is designed to flip your brain into panic mode. Suddenly you're backpedaling, explaining, apologizing. For what? For thinking? The first step towards wisdom is knowing when to be silent. But silence doesn't mean surrender. It means choosing your battles with precision.
Another one where context absolutely matters. For instance, are you accusing me of something? If you are, and they ask, they probably just want clarity. If you're not, then just say no.
This question deserves neither a yes nor a no. It deserves stillness. When someone throws, "Are you accusing me?" at you, understand what's happening. They're testing your strength. Hold eye contact. Pause for 2 to 3 seconds. Then say, "Should I be?" 9 times out of 10, they'll stutter because liars expect panic, not power.
I find it funny that this video about how only liars ask these questions is actively instructing the people watching it to engage in dishonesty by not simply engaging with a question directly and honestly.
4. Would I ever lie to you? Now this one is poison wrapped in velvet. It's not a real question. It's a performance.
Okay, now this one is actually completely fair because, but it's pretty much useless too. Because like, would I ever lie to you? That is such an obvious red flag that no one actually skilled at deceit would ever ask it. It's a question that pretty much only exists in cartoonishly written media where a character is meant to be transparently untrustworthy. I have never heard an actual human being utter that sentence. Would I lie to you? That's pretty much like a universal signal of, I am a liar. Do not trust me.
5. Can't we just move on from this? Translation, I don't want to be held accountable. This is the liar's final card, exhaustion.
Another one that is highly contingent on context. Sure, someone could want to move on because they're trying to avoid being held accountable, but they could also want to move on because the terrain has already been fully explored and there's nothing new to be gleaned by continuing to tread the same ground. Ultimately, that's my big problem with this video. Instead of focusing on looking at intention, it instructs its audience to look at a handful of surface-level questions with inherent and automatic distrust and bad faith. And you can see the results right down in the comments. One of the top comments under the video is, I've learned to trust no one, but I've learned to trust myself. Guys, if someone is watching a video on something purporting to be the philosophy of Stoicism, as laid out by thinkers like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus, among others, and coming away with trust no one, then what they are being instructed in is not Stoicism. That is not what Stoicism teaches. It teaches that you are responsible for your perceptions, your reflections, your judgments. It does not teach that the world is full of snakes and liars, and you must build a fortress around your own little fucking ego. Epictetus wrote, "It's not things that upset us, but our judgments about things." In other words, the Stoic project is not about labeling other people as threats. It's about interrogating your own thinking. A man obsessed with who's lying to him is still ruled by externalities. He is not free. He is imprisoned by suspicion. Stoicism teaches that you cannot control the actions of others. You can only control your response. It encourages compassion without dependence, strength without arrogance, detachment without numbness. Marcus Aurelius, emperor and philosopher, put it bluntly, when you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly, but I have seen the beauty of good and the ugliness of evil and have recognized that the wrongdoer has a nature related to my own. There is not trust no one in that sentiment. There's understanding, not fear. There is empathy, not paranoia. So when someone watches a video like this and walks away with trust no one, they are not learning Stoicism. They are learning fear. They are learning to close off, to see every interaction as a threat, to turn their insecurities into a gospel of emotional isolation. These people are not practicing Stoicism. They are practicing paranoia in a toga. That is all.